All right, what's up, everybody? Let's give it a second for the chat to fill up a little bit. All right, so we got through week one. We got our butts whooped. Yes, I will acknowledge that. The Alabama game did not go as we planned. But we're not here to talk about Alabama. I'll touch on that real quick, but I'm going to put that in the rear view. We will put that to rest. But in the meantime, it is week two. Some say, what's up, E-Dub? Some say the season really kind of starts this week. I don't know if I totally agree with that. I think we were totally going into Atlanta to try to win that game, but that didn't work out. But yeah, beating Alabama wasn't the main goal for this season. I will agree with that. Just my final thoughts on that game, and then we'll put that in the past and focus on our next opponent. So, after having multiple days now to think about it, yes, a lot of things I was not happy with, and that will need to correct for sure. We're going to need to work on some stuff, but let's not, miss out on the fact that this was University of Alabama. Nick Saban is arguably the greatest coach of all time. And as always, he reloaded and he had his boys prepared. He always has his boys prepared for openers. And I mean, just look at just to the tiniest detail, like even running backs, like the way they were picking up blitzes and their vision and the way receivers were getting open, like no wasted movement. I mean, they are just a well-oiled machine. And as Wholesome once said on either his show or Mark Rogers' show, we ran into a bit of a buzzsaw. And how do we bounce back from it is the important thing. So that's in the past. This week, we have Appalachian State. Firefighter Kane. Hey, John, are you guys meeting up for tailgating this weekend? I will not be at the game, actually, but I'm sure a bunch of the YouTubers that are local are going to be meeting up. So maybe ask Flo. He'll probably be the one to ask on his show. But, so we got Appalachian State. So App State is a talented football team. They, let's see, simply put, don't give Saban months to prepare for your team. This is the outcome. Even if he has a week to prepare, it's the outcome. But it's a tough thing to overcome. But yeah, Appalachian State, we played them 5 years ago in 2016. Pretty much made quick work of those guys, mopped the floor with them. I remember we were on upset alert not just that entire week going into the season. People thought, oh, we're going to Boone, North Carolina. We're going on the road. That's a tough atmosphere. That's going to be a tough one for the Canes. We won, I want to say it was 41-10, 48-10, something like that. We blasted them. That was when we had Brad Kaya and Mark Walton and, Coley and Njoku. We had some studs on offense. So the situation is a little different. I do think we still have a very talented team, but I think they've upped the talent level on their team a little bit. So I still think we win this game. My early prediction is that we bounce back. I don't think we have much of a sluggish start. I think we bounce back and jump on them quick. Hopefully Rhett Lashley is going to feel like he has something to prove, and he just comes out with that quick passing attack like he did against FSU, just pedal to the metal from the jump. If we do that, we'll be fine. And we'll beat App State by at least a couple of scores. Right now, the spread, I believe, is 7.5. Max, what's up, man? So right now, the spread is about a 7.5. And yes, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. I think they're basing a lot of that on how both teams performed in week one, and that's fine. Appalachian State had an impressive showing against East Carolina. They have some very talented running backs and fast receivers. They got a pretty good quarterback in Chase Bryce. And let me tell you, even though we knocked him around a little bit when he was with Duke last year, the guy was dropping some dimes. I mean, of course, he had some time to throw. And I think East Carolina is not a very good team at all. Their quarterback situation is not good. Their defense, I mean, if you thought our tackling was bad, their tackling was even worse, and not against an Alabama caliber opponent either. So they're going to run into a much higher level opponent than East Carolina. So tackling, I think, will improve. I don't think it's going to be a night and day change overnight, but I think it will improve. And I think they're going to come at us with a lot of misdirection. If you go back and watch the East Carolina App State game from last week, they were hitting East Carolina with a lot of, what they call eye candy in the backfield. A lot of motion, a lot of, the O-line, blocks and moves this way, but the play's going that way. A lot of that stuff. So if we can stay disciplined, we'll be fine. That's going to be a big key for the game. Another big key for the game is the fact that in week 1, anytime we threw a blitz at Alabama, I mean, it was picked up no matter what angle it was coming from. It could have been 4 guys, 7 guys, 5 guys. It did not matter. They picked it up every single time. I don't think that's going to be the case really for the rest of the schedule, but especially against Appalachian State. I think we're going to get a lot of pressure on Chase Bryce. The speed that's coming at him, I think, is going to surprise him. I don't think he's going to be ready for it. And that's why I think we ultimately win this game. And I don't think it's going to be that close. The only way it's going to be close is if really we come out sluggish in that first quarter. And it takes us a while to get that first touchdown on the board. OG Kane says, the only dogfights I see us in this season is VTech at VTech. Yes, actually, that's at home. Michigan State at Miami, FSU, because it's a rival. I would agree with that. I think we're going to be in a dogfight with UNC also. I think there's 4 or 5 close games ahead of us, but also there's probably 5 or 6 games that we should win pretty convincingly, and I think this is one of them. This one, what else? CCSU, obviously. Pitt should be a 10 to 14 point win. NC State could be a bit of a dogfight. That could be a close game. We'll see. Georgia Tech, I don't know. They did not look very good in week 1. So, but they got some talent, so we'll see. It's here. The Georgia Tech game, I believe, is here. So I don't think we should have much of a problem there. Let's see. VTech is a home game. Don't worry about fam. I agree. OG Kane, 37. So that's your score prediction for the Saturday, 38-17? I think it's going to be like 38-21, 38-24, something like that. That's what I'm predicting. I think, App State's going to get in the end zone a few times, but I think not at the clip that we're going to. If there was one of the few positives I took away from the first game is our and I think it's pretty much a consensus across the board. Everybody was pretty impressed, pretty pleased with the wide receiver play. We didn't get to see the tight ends featured. Big part of that is because they were doing a good job covering them. Let's not, that's not lost on me for sure. It's not like, oh, we should have been forcing the ball into Mallory. No, it's like sometimes he just wasn't open. You gotta figure that in. So he will get open a lot more. I think some of those early plays we tried against the Crimson Tide, moving De'Ara King in the pocket, hitting Rambo down the sideline. We did hit Mallory on one first down early in the game. I think that's going to be there. I don't, they have a lack of size on defense too. So I think in the running game, if we're smart with it, we don't overdo it, we're not predictable with it, we should be able to kind of push them around. If we don't, then that's a scheming issue. That's a play calling issue. They're doing something to tip off that running game, in my opinion. See, we got to stop the outside stretch and contain the edge. Yeah, containing the edge is huge in this game, E-Dub. This is almost like, back in the day when we played Georgia Tech, we were facing the triple option. And they were big on, a hat on a hat, stay in your lane, keep lane integrity. That's huge in this game. So I agree with you. I don't know what happened don't know what happens, but we need 30 first half points this week. I think if we put 30 first half points on them, we'll be ahead a couple touchdowns by halftime. I mean, that game might be over by halftime, which would be great. I would love to see some of the young guys get some burn in the second half. All right, OG Kane. I think we put up 40 plus just because the offense is pissed. Y'all saw King's press conference after the game. Yeah. I'm excited to see what King does after this because there's this narrative now, which I think is absolutely hilarious, that King is just absolute trash and he can't throw and he's not a good drop back passer and Miami has no passing game. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, it's like they completely forgot about last year. The NC State game, the FSU game, the Louisville game, the Duke game. A lot of those weren't great defenses, but I'm sorry, the dude lit up some secondaries last year. And that's factoring in that we had 2 starting wide receivers that led the country in drops. Let's keep that in mind. Even with all that, with his main target being Brevin Jordan and Mike Harley towards the end of the year, he still did some work. Let's see. So up to Javier, what's going on? Yeah, he was pissed, man. I'm excited to see what he does, honestly, because we want Garcia. Maybe for the future, but I want King right now. King's the dude until he proves that he's not. And to me, he has not proven that he's not the guy. But just joking. I was hoping. Yeah, Jamar usually comes with better comments than that. I was hoping you were kidding. All right, big game from X and the Three Amigos. Ooh, I would love to see the Three Amigos. For those who might not know, the 3 freshmen that came in this year: Bashard Smith, Romello Brinson, and Jacoby George. I would love to see all 3 of those guys get in this game. And I think Xavier Restrepo proved that he belongs, that he is a starter on this team. He's one of the top 3, 4, maybe top 3 receivers on this team. He's going to get a lot of targets. I was watching Footballville. They were doing an episode, from practice, and they were talking about Xavier, and they were like, yeah, he's, they compare him a lot to Braxton Berrios. He might be better than him already. I don't know about that. I mean, Braxton's in the NFL. He's got a nice little role with the New York Jets. So, let's see how X develops. Anyone who says TVD is an off one throwing that ball was tipped. And wait, let me read that again. Anyone who says TVD isn't it off one thrown ball that was tipped needs to get checked out. The people that's saying, TVD, he's not the guy next. No. TVD came in for 2 series and he had 2 opportunities to throw the ball, and you're judging him based on that. That's crazy. I would love to see TVD in this game. Hopefully we will. Hopefully we have a big enough lead that we see him for like a quarter. I would love to see that because I want to see how he runs the offense for like 4 offensive series. I would love to see that. See, Brashad going to get Knighton snaps to open it up. Him in the backfield, that's very enticing. That's going to create some matchup problems. And I was a little surprised that Jalen Knighton got 4 games for whatever it was. I'm not sure what it was. Max, if it was Brady back there that day, they would say he is garbage. Yeah, good point. I mean, our fans are impatient, to say the least. So please, for those coming into the chat right now, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Give me your score predictions for this Saturday's game. I'll give you mine as, again, I'm thinking it's going to be 38-34. I think we win I think we get ahead early and we stay ahead. It's going to be one of those games. I don't think we pull away at the end because I just think we're a better team. Now, if we struggle against this team, I don't know. Let me ask you guys. Let's say we win a close game. Let's say we beat them by 3. Are you guys getting on the Fire Manny train then? I would love to hear your thoughts. because you guys that come into this chat usually are pretty knowledgeable fans. I mean, I don't know if I'd be on it yet, but I'd be pretty close. I'd be pretty close. 38-24, Max. 38-24 is my prediction. Did I say 34? My bad. 38-24. That's my prediction. 41-21. Okay, I can see that happening. But yeah, I would say this. If we don't come out of this early 4-game stretch, if we don't go into the Virginia game 3-1, or if we don't go into the North Carolina game 4-1, then there's a problem. There should not be another loss between now and then. If there's 3 losses between now and then, yes, gut it, clean house. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not on any fire trains until the season is over. I can assess everything. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be fired during the season, for sure. I mean, you want a college team to fall apart really quick. Yeah, fire somebody in the middle of the season. I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, if we're looking back and this team finishes like 8-4, and we look back and like, oh, the Michigan State game, yeah, we should have won that game, could have easily won that game. Kind of like Al Golden when he lost to Cincinnati. I think that was the nail in the coffin for him. I think they were just waiting for the time to let him go. But, if we look back and, oh, Michigan State, we should have won that game. Or NC State at home, yeah, they're good, but, we're more talented. It was at home. We should have won that game. If we're losing games like that, yeah, it may be time to move on. Maybe. Keep in mind, Manny is bringing in a very good recruiting class. Even at 8-4, he's going to bring in a lot of talent. So, I don't know. I'm with you, Max. I would have to assess it at the end of the year. But you know how fans are. If we win this game by 7, they're going to be flying a banner over the stadium by the 3rd game. It's just a fact. If we have a close game, fans are going to go nuts. Yes, agreed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Edo Kane, what are you saying? But it's like what you're saying, but it's like talking to a wall, fam. Yeah, no, it took every coach that has won a natty recently except Urban 3 to 5 years to build what they have. Agreed. Yes, agreed. I'm just hoping he has a good enough year that they keep him around to let him keep building what he's building, because he is building something. It takes time, guys. Is Rhett Lashley the guy? Either way, I think the guy's gone after this year. He's probably going to take a job somewhere else, which totally fine with me. As long as we have a guy that's decent at running the spread offense, I'm good with it. As long as you got a guy that's a decent play caller, we got the athletes, we got the quarterback, which we know we will. TBD, Garcia, Ja'Cory Brown, we're good there for a while. I think we're fine. If you want to bump up Likens to the OC next year, fine. I'm good with it. Let's see. Not being able to look competitive with Bama was a bad look for the coaches. I agree. Yeah, it was a bad look, and it pissed us all off, and we had a lot to say. We had a lot of criticisms to give, and they're all valid criticisms, but keeping in mind, that the team we were going up against, we are not on their level yet. We're not on their level yet. I think we definitely can be. Anything's possible. And it's not like Nick Saban's going to coach there forever, but we're not there yet. Also, how long has Nick been there? This is his 15th season, 14th season. If you remember, the first 3 years, they won the championship in 2009. So 2007, he was like 7-5. 2008, he got to the SEC championship game, lost to Florida. 2009, they won. And 2009, they weren't like a perfect team. Like, he was still, now it's a well-oiled machine. OG Kane, you have to keep bringing in the talent. 1 or 2 classes ain't going to turn a program around. It is what it is. Fans get. Agreed. Man, you guys are very level-headed today. But then again, the next wave of fans that comes in might not be as patient. But yeah, I agree with what you guys were saying. It didn't look good for the coaches, but the reason I brought up, are you on the fire Manny train if, this game's close? I'm with Max. You got to look at it at the end of the season, because say we struggle. Yeah. Say we start 3-1, but we kind of struggle. We look sloppy, but we get better, or maybe we slip up against Michigan State, hypothetically. I hope not, but then we get better as the season goes. Maybe we pull out that win against UNC and Manny finally beats Mac Brown. We go on the road, beat FSU. We win the Coastal. We have a strong showing against Clemson. Then do you want to get rid of him? Because then he showed that the team got better as the season went on, which is what great teams do. Saban first year, they lost to Louisiana Monroe. I remember that. They lost to Louisiana Monroe. They lost to Florida State, I think, in like the opening game or something. I remember I think they had a kickoff classic that year. And I think FSU beat them, if I'm not mistaken. So that might have been one of the few times in my life I was rooting for FSU, because Saban had just left the Dolphins and everybody was rooting for Florida State in that game. Yeah, it takes time, guys. I just wish Manny takes a Saban approach and stays in his lane, lets his coordinators do what they got hired for. Even Saban had to learn that. Yeah, for sure. I will say this about Manny. I don't know if this is a fair criticism. I don't know if, I don't know if behind closed doors, he really critiques certain things, like the way, for example, Saban, or you see this by other coaches too, they have a huge lead and they're still pulling a player aside to tell him what he just did wrong on the last play. I love that. I love that attention to detail, that nitpickiness. That's why they're so great. I've never once seen Manny do that. He's more of a rah-rah guy. Okay? I don't know how you guys feel about that. That's just how I feel. Manny just needs time. Took Dabo 8 years. Yep. People forget Dabo got hired as an interim coach in 2008, 2009. And Manny is a little soft on his players. That's what I'm saying. I think he's a little soft on the guys. He's a little too much of a player's coach, but that doesn't mean you can't win as a player's coach. Plenty have. Thoughts on UNC, Cincy, Houston, and BYU joining the Big 12? I think it's a good move. Yeah, that's what I was saying a few weeks ago. I think these strong group of 5 teams like them that are good year in and year out go to the Big 12 and add some quality teams to that conference. I think it's a good move too. More TV time for those teams, which they deserve, I think, with all the winning they've been doing. Manny can't be soft. Been a fan since '88. Seen the good and the bad. Takes time to build a program. Plus 4 head coaches in 10 years doesn't help. Yes. Agreed. We all thought when Mark Richt got here, finally, problem solved. We have our coach. And then 3 years later, he's gone. So it's been, we've had some bad luck in that regard, unfortunately. I will say this. I will reiterate what I said on Sunday on Flo's show. If and when, Manny's not going to be here forever. If and when Manny moves on and we get our next head coach, it better not be another guy with no head coaching experience. We can't have that. This is the University of Miami. We should have a different standard. So this better be the last time we hire a head coach with no head coaching experience. It can't happen again. That's all I'm saying. Give Manny 5 years. If it doesn't work out, I would like to see us go after Kiffin or Bill O'Brien. Ooh. A lot of people love Lane Kiffin. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate Lane Kiffin here. Mario Cristobal. That's usually my go-to. Mario Cristobal to me is like another Mark Richt. I think he's very solid, like 9 or 10 win a year guy. When he had a great quarterback in Justin Herbert, he won the Rose Bowl. So it's not like he's never won the big one. So, yeah, but I think he's a solid 10-win team every year kind of guy. But Cristobal, yeah, overall, I think he would be an improvement, like mentality-wise and culture-wise, over what we have right now. Cristobal's Manny 2.0. See, I disagree with that. I think that dude would bring a different level of toughness to this team, especially in the trenches. Because remember, he's an O-line guy, and he's old school. Mario's struggling at Oregon. He got all the resources. Yeah. Ever since Hugh Jackson. Interesting. That's a good one. Mario's struggling. Yeah. Ever since he lost Justin Herbert. I mean, thing is, last year for the Pac-12 was such a weird year. I mean, it was like a 5 or 6 game season. I almost can't hold that against him. It was so crazy. Let's see how he does this year. I don't know. Miami would lock down Miami recruiting wise. Yes. He's an amazing recruiter. And a good O-line developer. But as soon as Herbert left, it went downhill. Issue with hiring NFL guys is that they don't want to recruit. Is that really the case? I mean, I could see that if it's a guy that has never been a head coach at the college level before. Yeah, I can see that. You remember for the longest time there was a rumor, I think it was after Randy Shannon. It was before Al Golden. There was that rumor that we were going to get John Gruden to be the coach here, which I don't know how that would have gone, honestly. That would have been cool just to, as an experiment, just to see how that would work. That was the rumor then, and I think it was the rumor again after Golden got fired. Yeah, like Bill O'Brien, etc. Yeah, I don't think they care to recruit at all. Mario, great recruiter, but unproven as a head coach. I don't agree with that. I don't think he's unproven as a head coach. Look what he did with FIU. He got him to the point where they won a bowl game. He made them somewhat relevant. What else? He went to – where else did he go? Oh, he was assistant coach at Alabama, offensive line coach there. He was recruiter of the year. And then he went to head coach at Oregon. So I guess, Oregon and FIU were the only two places he's been. But aside from this last year and that first game that Oregon had, I mean, Gruden rumor era was wild. Yes, it was. Javier, agree. In the Sun Belt, John, come. Yes, in the Sun Belt Conference, but Javier, he's recruiting Sun Belt players. Remember what FIU was just a couple years before. A couple years before he got there. I mean, they were going like 1-11. He gets there 2 years later, they win a bowl game. Again, with Sun Belt players. Besides Rick that I'm reaching, when has UM hired a big name head coach? A big name? I don't know. I don't think it's ever happened. Honestly, Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops is the guy at Kentucky, correct? He's a solid coach. I wouldn't mind him. He's coached here before. He was the secondaries coach when in the glory days. Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Antrell Roll, like those days. Mark Stoops was the secondaries coach. He almost lost last week against Fresno State. Yeah, no, I get you. Let's see how it plays out for Oregon this year. I'm just saying. No, never. Yeah, because when Jimmy Johnson was hired, he was coming from Oklahoma State. He was always losing to Oklahoma and Nebraska. He's getting pounded by those teams every year. So he was kind of an underdog guy. He wasn't a big name. Butch Davis wasn't a big name. I think he was on those Jimmy Johnson assistant staffs. Flo, what's going on, my brother? So Flo, you just joining us. We're trying to remember when Miami went out and hired a big name as a head coach. Not they became a big name while they were here, but went out and hired a big name, aside from Mark Richt. Don't think that's ever happened. That's good, man. I do like the Iowa State coach a lot. Campbell, yes. I like him too. There's a bunch of coaches I like. Let's see, Jimmy Johnson wasn't Jimmy until Miami. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we've never really opened up the checkbook, but recently, with who we've hired as assistant staff, that's shown me that, okay, they're finally willing to open up the checkbook a little bit to hire some quality assistants. We got one of the best DBs coaches in the country in T-Rob, maybe the best. We got arguably the best defensive line coach in the game in Jess Simpson. That's usually aren't things that we're willing to do. And we did it. So that gives me hope for the future. Whenever we're going after our next head coach, maybe we drop that bag and go after a big name. Hugh Jackson is the guy here. I got to do a little more research on Hugh Jackson to see if he would be a good fit here. But, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. We got App State this week. Again, Flo, now you're in the chat. What's your score prediction? I didn't get to see your flow motion today. I think we win by 2 touchdowns or more. And I think we see Tyler Van Dyke in this game for a little bit. I think that's the ideal scenario. Their running backs do scare me a little bit. They're so athletic and so good that, we got to wrap up. We got to stay in our lanes. We can't fall for, all the little misdirections and fakes and the window dressing they do in the backfield before the ball snapped. We got to keep that eye discipline, okay? So that's going to be crucial in this game. See you, OG Kane. What's up, Gage? I got us winning by 21. Could totally see that. I could see this game going kind of like, except for that lull in the second quarter, that game against Toledo in 2017. You guys remember that game? Mark Walton takes one to the house in the opening possession. It looks like we're off to the races, and then we fall behind at halftime, but then we kind of get it going. Keep in mind, nothing against him. I like the guy. He's a good dude. Malik Rozier was our quarterback. Let's keep that in mind. Mark Richt was the play caller. Did not do a great job with the play calling, in my opinion. But you know what? The defense rallied, and we ended up winning by like 20-something points. I think it could be that without the lull, because we don't have a subpar quarterback. We have a very good quarterback and a lot of veterans. That 2017 team was very young and coming off of a hurricane where they were off for 20 days. That's why I think they're going to bounce back, honestly. I'm not that concerned. Hey, John, what's your prediction? My prediction is 38-24. I think we get ahead and stay ahead. Excuse me, folks. Yeah, sorry, guys. I will not do my usual hour because I actually have a fantasy draft tonight. In fact, you know what? All right, sorry about that. So that's my prediction, 38-24. Give me yours if you guys are just entering the chat. And also, please hit the subscribe button. Almost at 1,000. Hit that like button. Share it. It all helps. I will be doing my Cafecito and Canes this Saturday. As usual. It will be at 10:30 as usual. And I will be having a special guest. I'm working on a former Hurricane to come on and join us to, talk a little bit about his time with Miami and, give his opinion on the team. And, should be fun. I love watching fantasy drafts. Max, what I was thinking just now is maybe not to put it on the screen, but, ask you guys who I should be drafting. But I was so unprepared. ESPN Fantasy. So unprepared I have to reinstall the app. Let's see, 4120. I could see that. If we keep App State around 20 points, I think we're going to be fine. I don't see our offense struggling much. What's up, BJB? Much love, Brother Jay. I'll get in a Zoom with you if you want. All right. Yes, I will. Yeah, we'll probably finish in the next 10 minutes. But yes, guys, please. I know some of you are just getting done probably watching Mark Rogers. If you're getting in the chat, welcome. Please hit the like button. Give me your score prediction for Saturday. If you're just joining us, I don't think we're going to have much of a problem on Saturday. Yeah, they're running back nice. My cousin played with them a few years ago. Evans, he the backup with the Titans now. Yeah. No, and their current running back, Peoples, really good, man. They got some speed. But I think our defense is going to penetrate and get in that backfield, honestly. Let's see. I have a feeling UM wants to make a statement in this game. Please, if we are that team, if we're able to step up and be that team this year, that's what I've been waiting for years. A team that can bounce back and not just win after a loss, but whoop another team's ass after a loss because they're pissed. That's what I want to see from this team. I want to see them come out like literally if you're 3 minutes late because you're out running errands, you're running in, you turn on the game, like, oh, we're up 14-0 already. I want to see that. I want to see that kind of team come out because you know what? We're able to. We have the players to do that. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how we looked in week 1. We have the players to dominate this game. We ready must make a statement in this game. Yes. I think I said 42-20 last night on the show, but yeah, I think that's you said something like that. That sounds familiar. I have a good feeling about this game. I do too. It's at home. I agree, John. Yeah. Until they prove me wrong, I see a tight game. That's fair. Totally fair. Let me answer my friend really quick about the draft. All right. See, let's get the last few comments in. If you have any questions for me, please fire them my way. I think Hunt, Smith, and X have a big game. Also expect the DBs to do much better this game. Cam and James Williams will ball out as well. I would love to see those two guys specifically, Cam and James Williams. I think it's not going to be long before this is an early prediction of mine. It's not going to be long before we start seeing Cam Kinchins really start taking snaps away from Gervin Hall. I realize who we were playing last week, but Gervin Hall did not look good, and it's a pattern. It's been since last year. I don't think he's going to be out there as a starter much longer. We must go vertical downfield to protect King. Agreed. John, what bothers me most is that Diaz said our running game wasn't bad, and Lashley didn't think Dio was concerned. Yeah, but you got to remember he's gonna have his coaches back. You know, he's not gonna hear the criticism from the fans and the media and be like, oh yeah, you're right. He called a bad game. He's gonna have his coaches back. That doesn't mean behind closed doors he's telling them, hey, you got to change this up. We don't know. We're not in those meetings. There's a lot of smart guys on that staff. They need to put the young guys and sit the vets. Harris shouldn't see the field. I don't agree that Harris shouldn't see the field. He's not terrible. I do think Don Chaney should get more carries. I know that's controversial. I know Wholesome One probably I know he doesn't like hearing that, because Cam Harris is a solid back and Chaney can't block. I don't want King getting killed anymore. Chaney's not a good blocker, but I mean, he's so talented with the ball in his hand. You got to at least have him out there some of the time. Give him some carries, see what happens. And you know what? Blocking you can learn as a running back. Honestly, a lot of that's coaching. And that's very common with a young running back. We've seen it time and time again. What's up, Chug Mo Beer? One of my favorite viewers. Always very supportive. Yes, please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. He needs to improve blocking to get more playing time. Okay, hey, that's fine. Do you honestly believe that we have some plays called to take some shots down the field early in the game because King didn't have time? King didn't have time and couldn't take them. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna make some adjustments and have different things drawn up. I don't think King is going to be pressured in this game like he was in week 1. Not even close. I need to see Arroyo in this game. Yes, I do too. Agreed, Supreme Goon. Chaney and Brown fall forward. Harris, 220 pounds, dances too much. I agree that he dances too much. That's why I'm on your side that Chaney should be getting more carries. He does dance too much. Chaney is decisive. I mean, it looks like there's not even a hole there, and somehow he shoots through and gets like 7 yards. That's the mark of a good running back. DJ Dallas used to do that. When, as good as Travis Homer is, he's in the NFL. Sometimes he's just a straight line runner. He'd run into an offensive lineman's butt and fall down. DJ had this way of just finding, slithering through and being patient and just finding that gap and going. So yeah, guys, I think that's going to be it for me. I got to hop on this fantasy draft. So, please, throw your last minute predictions in. I think we're going to be okay. My quick recap on App State: they're athletic, but they're kind of undersized. They got a good quarterback, but you saw what happened when we pressured him a lot when he was with Duke. They couldn't really generate pressure on him in week 1. I think it's going to be totally different, and I think the speed that we're going to throw at him is really going to surprise him, to be quite honest with you. So, let's see, Gage. Hugh Freeze should be mentioned. Hugh Freeze was mentioned in our Discord chat, and not a lot of people were happy. But Chaney wore a red non-contact jersey all camp. He needs reps, and he'll block better. I agree. Blocking is something a running back can learn. 100% agree. All right, ladies and gents. Again, that's 45-24. All right. I'm seeing a lot. Us winning by around 20. I think we win by 14. That's my prediction. That's what I'm sticking to. And I think it's going to be putting some Hurricane fans' minds at ease. A lot of those blitzes Manny called against Bama will hit home this week and should have a good bit of turnovers. Oh, last thing. You just reminded me of something. We got held a lot against Alabama. I'm not one to cry about, refs not calling stuff or whatever. I don't think it would have made a difference in the outcome of who won the game. It would have helped. But there were a lot of times where we got held and it wasn't called. Surprise, surprise, that happens in every game. But especially against Alabama. There's this thing called the champion's advantage. Happens in boxing, happens in mixed martial arts. Unless you win convincingly, the judge's scorecard is usually going to go to the champion if it's close. Kind of the same thing in football when it comes to penalties. So just keep that in mind. Against App State this week, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be too quick for them to hold us, and if they do, it's going to get called. We get held in every game. Yep. Since the Mark Richt era, honestly, we get held. I mean, we went 9 games or something without our opponent getting called for a holding, which is crazy. Holding happens every other play in football. We can blitz and play 10 yards off the ball. Yeah. We can't blitz and play 10 yards off the ball. You have press and let the QB make it tough throw. I do want to see more press coverage. You are right about that. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Love y'all. It's all about the U. I'll see you Saturday morning. Go Canes.